everybody, it's Alyce-Kay Ruckelshaus from Threshold of Hineni, and I am working on my series of ways that God has blessed me and taken care of me since Bill died, to reframe my thinking so that I'm being positive and not staying in bed depressed. And I've got my little basket here of things that I've brainstormed that I keep adding to, and I'm just choosing things out randomly to talk about, and so I have no idea what I'm going to be talking about ahead of time. So my pets. Oh, okay. So that's a big thing. I have, oops, what's this? Oops, that's a different one. So that just came out with it. Okay, so my pets, I have, well, when Bill died, we had 2 dogs, Eli and Penny, and we had 3 cats, Ellie, Hester, and Abby. And, you know, we both really love animals, and he was more the dog person, I was more the cat person, but we both loved all the animals. And so when he died, I already told you about Eli. It really helped having my animals. It really, really did. Sometimes it's been kind of a pain, I have to admit, because sometimes I don't feel like taking care of them, but I have to get up and take care of them. And so that's actually been good because it gets me out of bed when I otherwise would probably just spend the day in bed crying and reading or watching something on Netflix or something. So, you know, so they've been good for me health-wise, I guess you would say, as well as, you know, emotionally and everything. And, you know, and we're a family, you know, it's like, you know, I think I said in one of my earlier videos that I used to try to take any work that I could take out to the kitchen or living room to sit and be with Bill and talk. I do that now for the animals, you know, because I realized after a short time that, gosh, you know, I'm spending a lot of my time back here in the craft room and the office where they can't come. And, you know, they're just like by themselves, and that's not very nice. And so I started really working on trying to do things places where they could be with me as much as possible. So like, you know, I'll work on something back here, but then I'll make sure that I spend time out there with them. And, you know, and so that's just good, you know, because we're a family, we take care of each other. But it's like they can be spread all through the house. Usually they're not, though. Actually, they usually are like all together in one room. Usually the family room, which is right next to this room. And they'll be all like lined together. It's really cute. And not all of them, but usually like 2 or 3 are together, and then one's running around doing something. But anyway, so when I will go and sit down like in the living room or the kitchen, one by one they'll start heading in there and be by me, and Penny will either lie down on the floor right next to me, or she'll come over and want me to pet her for a while, and then she'll lie down on the dog bed, which is not very far from me. And then the cats, usually at least one of them is on me, not on my chest. I'm not on my lap. They don't like to sit on my lap. They like to sit on my chest. It's like these boobs are like their place to sit on their shelf or something. They like to be up by my face. And so yeah, so it's like 1 or 2 of them will be on me, and then another one will be lying behind me on the back of the couch or something, you know, or if I'm in the kitchen, then they all have to be up by me and everything. And I'm really bad. I let them on the table because it's just me. And yeah, so it's like, so they're kind of like my family. So anyway, I thought I'd tell you guys a little bit about them. So Eli, of course, I already told you about, and he had gotten Eli from his daughter who has a border collie rescue. And my understanding of this story, I could be wrong, she might correct me, but is that she had to go on a trip or something, and so she brought Eli over for Bill to take care of. And it kind of sounded to me like maybe she intentionally knew that he was going to keep Eli, because she chose him specifically, but I'm not sure about that. And anyway, so Bill did fall in love with him, and he kept him, and he had him for, I guess, about 4 years by the time that I came along. And he also had a cat named Miss Pinky, and then we got 2 dogs from DuPont, from their hunting kennels. They had 2 dogs that were retiring, and they just like, you know, to get those to homes and stuff. And so we gave them a home, which was kind of silly on our part. We didn't think about the fact that hunting dogs live in a kennel outside, and they had never been inside before, so they were not house trained. And it's really true what they say, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. So we did work it so that we could finally get them so that they were mostly going outside, but yeah. And then also they didn't know anything about stairs, and our bedroom was upstairs, and it was just normal for us to have the animals sleeping with us, and so they didn't know how to come upstairs, and they wouldn't come up the stairs. They would just stand there looking forlornly at us, and like trying to figure out how they were going to get to us. So Bill would go and carry each of the dogs separately upstairs to sleep with us each night, and then bring them down in the morning. And so the male we did have to put down about 6 months after we got him. You know, they were old, they were elderly when we got them, and so that was just like, oh my goodness, it was heart-wrenching because we really loved him. And the same day we put down Bill's cat, Miss Pinky. So that was also very difficult. So then eventually we got a kitten who we called Calypso. We both really wanted a calico, and we figured this was going to be the last cat that we ever got. And so we had told them at the shelter that we wanted a calico. Well, they had a litter of kittens that was brought in that needed fostering because they were only about 4 weeks old. And so she asked me, she said, you know, there's one that's a calico. Would you be willing to foster it, and then you can adopt it? And we said yes. So we got her, and almost immediately she got really, really sick. And it turned out that all of the kittens in this litter got sick. They had been living outside. They didn't belong to anybody or anything. Somebody had just found them and brought them in without a mother. And so the whole litter was sick, and that's why they needed to be fostered, was in case they did get sick, so that not all the cats in the shelter would get whatever they had. So Calypso ended up dying, and several of the other kittens in the litter did too. And that just completely broke my heart. I held her while she died, and it was just, yeah, just really, really, really hard. But I'm glad that we were able to give her, you know, a good life for a few days. I think we had her about 4 days before she died, but she was sick most of that time. And so I told the gal there, I said, you know, it'll be a while before I can handle having another kitten. And she said, okay, just let me know when you're able to. Well, when I finally got to the place where I could handle it, and Bill was ready anytime, she said that she had the cat that would be perfect for us, she felt. But it wasn't calico, but we agreed to it. And it was one that she had been fostering. Well, it turned out it was from the same litter as Calypso was. So this was her sister, and so we named her Abigail Adams because Bill and I both really, really loved John and Abigail Adams, and we watched the special about them every year because we loved their marriage. And they were just cool people too, but we loved their marriage and how romantic they were and everything. And so we named her Abigail Adams, so that's Abby. And then after we moved here, we decided to get another kitten. We felt like Abby needed somebody to play with. And she loved Eli, and she always wanted to play with Eli, but Eli was scared of her. And so he really wasn't a playmate for her. And so we went to the shelter here in Monroe County, and they didn't have any calicos, but there was a cat that kept reaching out and trying to grab me. And so I said, I just want to hold her. And she just started purring as soon as I got her in my arms. And she just cuddled right up and was just such a sweet baby. And so we decided to get her. And then as we were just about to leave, Bill saw a turtle shell cat. And he said, can we get her? I mean, we hadn't even taken her out or anything. And he was just all, can we get her? And I was like, yeah, if you want her, let's get her. And so we took her out. She didn't have a tail, and they were saying, oh yeah, this whole litter, somebody took off their tails. Well, it turns out that she was a Manx, which are born without tails. And so she can jump like really, really far and really high. She's amazing. And so anyway, so we named the black and white one, the real cuddly one, we named Eleanor after my dad's stepmother. And we named the turtle shell one Hester after my mom's mother. And so, yeah, so, and then, then Penny, my daughter Kat was nannying for this family, and they were going to move, and they weren't able to take their dog with them to, I think it was Nevada or Utah or something. And so they had asked, if she knew of anybody who would want a dog. Well, Kat knew that we were pushovers when it came to animals who needed a home. And so she talked to us, and of course we took Penny. And so Bill went and picked her up. We went over to visit one day, and we saw how totally insane she was. And I was a little hesitant, I have to admit, because she was really crazy, and she was chasing the cats, which I didn't really like. But Bill really liked her, so we got her, and so she's been, part of our family, and now part of my family since Bill died, and she's Bill always said she was incorrigible, and she is. I've been working on training her. I tried training her when we first got her, and she was like impossible to train, and she still is very difficult to train, but I have gotten her to where she will sit for 2 minutes. It used to be that 3 seconds, I couldn't even get her to sit that long, and she wouldn't put her butt down on the floor at all. But now she will sit for 2 minutes, and I think she would sit for longer. It's just that that's how long I've had her sit while I'm holding a treat in my hand, and she also knows to look at me. When I tell her, look at me, she takes her eyes off the treat, and she just stares in my eyes, which has been very sweet, and I think has really helped with our bonding. And so I think she's going to be a really sweet dog. She is a really sweet dog, but I think she's going to be well behaved, is what I'm saying. And yeah, so that's kind of my family right now. And yeah, so I'm really thankful for them, and they've been a blessing. So those of you who have pets know what I'm talking about, and those of you who are not animal people probably think that I'm totally crazy, but yeah. All right, I love you. I will talk to you later. Pray for each other, okay? Bye-bye.